Have you ever received a message that made your heart stop? Not because of what it said, but because of who sent it. I have. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was at work, sitting at my desk, going through emails when my phone buzzed. A text from my brother, Arjun. I smiled. We hadn't talked much lately. He'd been busy planning his engagement. I was excited for him, happy that he'd found someone. I opened the message, expecting wedding details or maybe an invitation to help with preparations. Instead, I read this. Maya, I need to tell you something. Please don't come to my engagement party this Saturday. Priya's family is very traditional and status conscious. They don't know about your situation. It would be better if you stayed away. I hope you understand. I'll make it up to you later. I stared at the screen, read it again and again. My situation. He meant my divorce. 6 months ago, my marriage ended. It wasn't my choice. My husband, Samir, left me for someone else. Someone younger, prettier, more successful. He didn't even have the decency to tell me himself. I found out through a mutual friend who saw him with her at a restaurant. The divorce was humiliating, painful, soul-crushing. But I survived it. I picked up the pieces, moved into a small apartment, focused on my job, tried to rebuild my life. And now my own brother was telling me I was too shameful to attend his engagement party. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My hands shook as I typed back. Arjun, I'm your sister. Why would my presence shame you? 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, his response came. Look, I'm not trying to hurt you, but Priya's father is very conservative. He already has concerns about our family not being prominent enough. If he finds out my sister is divorced, it will create problems. Her family might even call off the engagement. I can't risk that. Please just stay home. For me. For him. Everything was always for him. Growing up, Arjun was the golden child, the firstborn son, the pride of the family. Handsome, charming, educated, he could do no wrong. I was just Maya, the younger sister, the afterthought. When Arjun wanted to study engineering, our parents took out loans to send him to the best college. When I wanted to study literature, they told me to pick something practical and sent me to a local college. When Arjun got his first job, we threw a party. When I got mine, my mother said, "Good, now you can help with household expenses." I learned early on that my dreams, my feelings, my existence didn't matter as much as his. But this was different. This wasn't just being overlooked. This was being erased. I sat at my desk, staring at that message, and felt something inside me shift. Not anger, not yet. Just clarity. My brother didn't see me as his sister. He saw me as a problem, an embarrassment, something to hide. And I realized something else in that moment. I was done being invisible, done being the person everyone pushed aside, done accepting scraps of love and calling it family. If Arjun wanted to pretend I didn't exist, then fine. But he was about to learn that ignoring someone and erasing someone are 2 very different things. And I was about to make sure he never forgot the difference. Let me tell you about my family, about how I became the person my own brother felt ashamed of. We grew up in a middle-class home in Mumbai. My father worked at a bank. My mother was a homemaker. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. Arjun was born first. 3 years later, I came along. From the beginning, the difference was clear. Arjun was celebrated. I was tolerated. When he cried, everyone rushed to comfort him. When I cried, I was told to be quiet and not disturb everyone. When he succeeded, it was proof of his brilliance. When I succeeded, it was expected and unremarkable. I didn't resent him for it at first. I loved my brother. I looked up to him. I followed him around like a puppy, wanting his attention, his approval. Sometimes he was kind. He'd play with me, help me with homework, protect me from bullies at school. But other times, he ignored me completely, especially when his friends were around. I was an inconvenience then, an annoying little sister who didn't understand that she wasn't wanted. As we grew older, the gap widened. Arjun became popular. He played cricket, joined clubs, had tons of friends. Girls liked him. Teachers praised him. Everyone knew Arjun Sharma. I was quiet, bookish, a little awkward. I had a few close friends, but I wasn't popular. I didn't stand out, I was just there. Our parents poured everything into Arjun's future. His education, his career, his marriage prospects. I was told, "You'll get married anyway. What's the point of spending so much on you?" When I was 22, they started looking for a husband for me. They found Samir through a family connection. He was 28, worked in IT, came from a good family. We met twice before the wedding. Twice. I didn't love him, I didn't even know him, but everyone said he was a good match, that I was lucky, that I should be grateful. So I married him. For the first year, things were okay. Not great, not terrible, just okay. Samir was distant. He worked long hours, came home late, barely talked to me, but I told myself that was normal. That marriage took time, that I just needed to be patient. Then I started noticing little things. He was always on his phone, always texting, always smiling at his screen. When I asked who he was talking to, he'd say, "Work stuff or just friends." I believed him, or maybe I just wanted to believe him. Until the day I found out the truth. I was at a cafe with a friend, Neha, when she went pale and grabbed my hand. "Maya, isn't that Samir?" I turned, and there he was, at a corner table, with a woman holding her hand, laughing, looking at her the way he'd never looked at me. My world tilted. Neha insisted we leave, but I couldn't move. I just watched them, watched my husband with another woman, watched him be happy in a way he never was with me. When I confronted him that night, he didn't even deny it. "I'm sorry, Maya. I didn't mean for this to happen, but I love her. I want to be with her. We're not right for each other, you know that." I didn't know that. I thought we were building a life together. I thought marriage meant commitment, partnership, trying. But to him, I was just an arrangement that didn't work out. He filed for divorce a week later. My family was devastated, not because I was hurting, because of what people would say. My mother cried, "What will we tell everyone? This is so shameful." My father said, "You must have done something wrong. Men don't leave for no reason." And Arjun, he barely said anything, just, "That's unfortunate, try to move on." No support, no comfort, no anger on my behalf. Just disappointment that I'd brought shame to the family name. I moved out, got my own apartment, focused on work, tried to rebuild. And I thought slowly my family would come around, that they'd see I was strong, that I was surviving. Instead, they distanced themselves. My mother stopped inviting me to family gatherings, said it was awkward with me being divorced. My father avoided talking about me to relatives, as if I didn't exist. And now Arjun, my own brother, was telling me not to come to his engagement party because I was an embarrassment. I sat in my apartment that night, staring at his message, and made a decision. If they wanted to erase me, fine. But first, I was going to make sure they saw exactly what they were erasing. And then I was going to make sure they regretted it. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. Part of me wanted to just accept it, to stay home, to not cause trouble, to be the good, quiet, obedient Maya everyone expected me to be. But another part of me, a part I'd buried for years, was screaming. Why should I hide? Why should I be ashamed? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't cheat. I didn't break my vows. I didn't give up. Samir did, and yet I was the one being punished for it. By morning, I'd made my decision. I wasn't going to stay home. I wasn't going to let Arjun erase me. But I also wasn't going to show up and cause a scene. That would just confirm what everyone already thought, that I was a problem. No, if I was going to attend that engagement party, I needed to do it in a way that made a statement. A way that showed everyone, especially Arjun, that I wasn't ashamed, that I was strong, that I mattered. I started planning. First, I needed to look absolutely stunning, not just pretty, stunning, the kind of presence that made people stop and stare. I went shopping that weekend. Spent more money than I should have on a beautiful sari, deep emerald green with gold embroidery. Elegant, sophisticated, expensive looking. I got my hair done, my nails, my makeup. I even hired a professional to help me get ready the day of the party. Second, I needed backup. I couldn't show up alone. That would make me look desperate, lonely, pathetic. I called my friend Neha, explained the situation. She was furious on my behalf. Your brother said what? Maya, that's disgusting. Of course I'll come with you, and we're going to show up looking like absolute queens. Third, I needed a strategy. I couldn't just walk in and hope for the best. I needed to control the narrative. So I did some research, found out everything I could about Priya and her family. Turns out Priya's father, Mr. Rajesh Malhotra, was a businessman, owned a chain of electronic stores, wealthy, well-connected, conservative, yes, but also obsessed with appearances and status. Priya herself was sweet, from what I could find on social media, a bit sheltered, very family-oriented. She seemed genuinely in love with Arjun. Good, that meant she wasn't the problem. The problem was Arjun and his cowardice. I also found out who else was invited to the party. Family friends, business associates, people my family wanted to impress. Perfect. Because I wasn't going to just show up. I was going to make an entrance, one that Arjun couldn't ignore. The day of the engagement party arrived. I got ready slowly, carefully, every detail perfect. The sari draped flawlessly, hair in soft waves, makeup subtle but striking, jewelry elegant. Neha arrived at my apartment and gasped. Maya, you look like royalty. I smiled. That's the point. We drove to the venue, a fancy banquet hall my parents had rented. Already, I could see the difference between this and my own wedding. Arjun's engagement party was grand, expensive, everything I never got. I pushed down the bitterness and focused. Neha squeezed my hand. You ready? No, but I'm doing it anyway. We walked in. The hall was packed, hundreds of people, music playing, decorations everywhere. A stage set up at the front where Arjun and Priya would sit. I spotted my parents first. My mother in a silk sari, smiling and greeting guests. My father shaking hands, playing the proud father of the groom. Neither of them saw me yet. Then I saw Arjun, standing near the entrance, greeting people as they arrived. He looked happy, confident, like he didn't have a care in the world. Like he hadn't told his own sister to stay away. I took a deep breath and walked toward him. He didn't notice me at first. He was talking to someone, laughing. Then he turned, and his face went white. Maya, what are you doing here? I smiled, calm, controlled. I'm attending my brother's engagement party. Isn't that what sisters do? He glanced around nervously. I told you not to come. I know. I decided to come anyway. Maya, please, this isn't a good idea. Priya's family will meet me and realize I'm a kind, educated, perfectly respectable woman, unless you tell them otherwise. He looked panicked. You can't just... I can, and I did. Now where's your fiancée? I'd love to meet her. Before he could respond, a voice called out, Arjun, who's this? We both turned. A beautiful girl in a pink lehenga was walking toward us, smiling curiously. Priya. Arjun stammered, This is Maya, I extended my hand. I'm his sister. It's so lovely to finally meet you, Priya. Congratulations. Priya's face lit up. His sister. Oh my God, Arjun, you didn't tell me she was coming. How wonderful. She hugged me, actually hugged me. I could feel Arjun's tension radiating off him. Priya pulled back, beaming. You look absolutely stunning. That sari is gorgeous. Thank you. You look beautiful too. Arjun is very lucky. I'm the lucky one, she said warmly. Come, you have to meet my parents. And just like that, she grabbed my hand and started pulling me toward her family. Arjun followed, looking like he wanted to disappear. I glanced back at Neha, who gave me a thumbs up. This was going even better than I'd planned. Priya led me across the crowded hall toward a group of well-dressed people standing near the stage. I recognized them from my research, her family. Her father, Mr. Rajesh Malhotra, stood at the center, tall and imposing in a crisp sherwani. Her mother, draped in an expensive Kanjivaram sari, smiled politely as guests approached. Her younger brother stood beside them, looking bored. "Papa, Mummy, look who I found," Priya called out excitedly. "This is Arjun's sister, Maya." Mrs. Malhotra's smile widened. "Oh, we didn't know Arjun had a sister. How lovely." I could feel Arjun tense beside me. I smiled graciously. "Yes, I've been away for work, so I couldn't be as involved in the wedding planning as I'd have liked, but I wouldn't miss today for anything." Mr. Malhotra extended his hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Maya." Arjun speaks so highly of his family. "Does he?" I wanted to say, because he asked me not to come. Instead, I shook his hand warmly. "The pleasure is mine, sir. You've raised a wonderful daughter. Our families are very lucky." He seemed pleased. "Thank you. Family is everything, isn't it?" "It certainly is." Priya beamed. "Maya, you have to sit with us. Come, come." She practically dragged me toward the family seating area near the stage. Arjun followed, looking like he was walking toward his own execution. As we sat down, I could see my parents across the hall. My mother had spotted me. Her face went from confusion to shock to horror in a matter of seconds. She grabbed my father's arm and whispered urgently in his ear. He turned, saw me, and his expression hardened. But they couldn't do anything. Not here, not in front of everyone. I smiled at them from across the room. Priya chattered happily beside me. "Maya, Arjun never mentioned you. Are you older or younger?" "Younger, by 3 years." "Oh, a little sister, how sweet. And what do you do?" "I work in digital marketing. Content strategy, mostly. It's challenging but rewarding." "That sounds amazing. I've always wanted to work, but Papa says I should focus on the wedding and then settling down." I nodded sympathetically. Family expectations can be complicated. She sighed. "Tell me about it. Papa has so many rules, so many traditions. Sometimes I feel like I can't breathe." Then she brightened. "But Arjun is wonderful. He's so understanding, so supportive." I wanted to laugh. Arjun, understanding, supportive. The same man who told me not to come because I'd embarrass him. Instead, I said, "He's lucky to have you." The ceremony began shortly after. Arjun and Priya sat on the stage as priests chanted mantras and family members performed rituals. It was beautiful, elaborate, expensive. Everything my own wedding hadn't been. Throughout the ceremony, I caught Arjun glancing at me nervously. He kept whispering to our parents, who looked increasingly uncomfortable. But I sat there calmly, smiling, playing the part of the supportive sister. Neha sat beside me, occasionally squeezing my hand in silent solidarity. After the ring exchange, speeches began. Mr. Malhotra spoke first, talking about family values, tradition, and the sacred bond of marriage. Then my father spoke, stumbling through a prepared speech about how proud he was of Arjun. Not once did he mention me. Then Arjun stood to speak. He thanked everyone for coming, thanked the Malhotras for welcoming him into their family, thanked his parents for their support and sacrifices. And then he said something that made my blood boil. "I'm so blessed to have such a strong, supportive family. They've always been there for me, through everything. I wouldn't be the man I am today without them." Strong, supportive, always there. I almost laughed out loud. The same family that shamed me for getting divorced. The same family that told me to stay away from this very event. The same brother who called me an embarrassment. That family. I stood up. Everyone turned to look at me. Priya smiled. "Maya, do you want to say something?" I hadn't planned this, but suddenly I knew exactly what I needed to do. "Actually, yes, if that's okay." Arjun's face went pale. "Maya, that's not necessary." "I insist." I walked toward the stage, every eye in the room on me. I took the microphone, my heart pounding but my voice steady. "Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Maya Sharma, Arjun's younger sister. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some people looked confused, others curious. I just want to say a few words about my brother and about family. Arjun looked like he wanted to run. I continued. Arjun and I grew up together. We shared a childhood, shared parents, shared memories. And like all siblings, we had our ups and downs. But there's something I've learned recently about family, about what it really means. I paused, looking directly at Arjun. Family isn't just about blood, it's about showing up. It's about standing by each other even when things are hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when others are judging. My mother's face had gone red. My father looked furious. Family means not hiding the people you love because you're worried about what others think. It means embracing them, flaws and all. Supporting them through their worst moments, not just celebrating their best. I could feel the tension in the room. So, Arjun, as you start this new chapter with Priya, I hope you remember that. I hope you build a marriage based on honesty, loyalty, and unconditional support, because that's what real family looks like. I handed the microphone back and returned to my seat. Silence. Then slowly, a few people started clapping, then more, then the whole room was applauding. Priya grabbed my hand, her eyes shining with emotion. That was beautiful, Maya. I smiled, but inside I was shaking. I just publicly called out my entire family without saying a single specific thing. No one in the room knew exactly what I was talking about, except them. And they knew I just fired the first shot. The rest of the evening was a blur. People came up to me, complimenting my speech, asking about me, wanting to know more about Arjun's mysterious sister. I played the part perfectly, gracious, warm, charming. But I could feel my family's eyes on me the entire time. My mother's tight-lipped anger, my father's cold glares, Arjun's barely concealed panic. When dinner was served, I sat with Priya's family. They were kind, welcoming, treating me like I actually mattered. Mr. Malhotra asked about my work. I told him about my digital marketing campaigns, my recent promotions, my goals. He seemed impressed. You're very accomplished, Maya. Your family must be proud. I smiled politely. I hope so. Mrs. Malhotra leaned in. And you're not married. There it was, the question I'd been waiting for. I was. It didn't work out. But I'm focusing on myself now, building my career, my independence. I waited for judgment, for the awkward silence, for the pity. Instead, Mrs. Malhotra nodded thoughtfully. That takes strength. Not many women have the courage to start over. I was stunned. Thank you. My sister went through something similar, she continued quietly. It was hard, but she's thriving now. Sometimes endings are really beginnings. I felt tears prick my eyes. This stranger, this woman I'd just met, had shown me more kindness and understanding in 5 minutes than my own family had in 6 months. That's very kind of you to say. She patted my hand. Family should lift each other up, not tear each other down. I glanced across the room at my own family. They were huddled together, clearly arguing in hushed tones. Arjun looked miserable. My parents looked furious. Good. After dinner, I found Neha near the dessert table. How are you holding up? She asked. Surprisingly well. You. That speech was iconic. I wanted to stand up and cheer. I laughed. I think I might have made things worse. No, you made things honest. There's a difference. As the party wound down, I decided it was time to leave. I'd made my point. Anything more would be overkill. I said goodbye to Priya, who hugged me tightly. Promise you'll stay in touch. I'd love to get to know you better. I'd like that too. As Neha and I headed toward the exit, a voice called out behind me. Maya, wait. I turned. It was Arjun. He looked exhausted, stressed, angry. We need to talk. Do we? What the hell was that speech? That was me being honest, Arjun. Something you should try sometime. You embarrassed me, in front of Priya's entire family. No, I told the truth. If that embarrasses you, maybe you should think about why. You should never have come. I told you not to come. I stepped closer, my voice low but firm. You told me not to come because you were ashamed of me, because my divorce makes you look bad, because you care more about appearances than about your own sister. That's not fair. Isn't it? When was the last time you asked how I was doing? When was the last time you supported me? When was the last time you treated me like I actually mattered? He looked away. This isn't the time for this conversation. When is the time, Arjun? Because I've been waiting for you to show up for me for 6 months, and you never did. I've been busy. You've been selfish. You've always been selfish. And I let it slide because I thought that's what family did. But I'm done. I'm done shrinking myself to make you comfortable. You're being dramatic. No, I'm being honest. And if you can't handle that, that's your problem, not mine. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my arm. Maya, please, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, I was scared. Priya's family is so traditional. I thought if they knew about your divorce, they'd judge our whole family. I was trying to protect us. No, you were trying to protect yourself. There's a difference. I pulled my arm free. Congratulations on your engagement, Arjun. I genuinely hope you and Priya are happy. But don't expect me to keep pretending I don't exist just to make your life easier. I walked out before he could respond. Neha was waiting by the car. How'd it go? He apologized, sort of. And it doesn't change anything. We drove back to my apartment in comfortable silence. When we arrived, Neha hugged me. I'm proud of you, you know that, right? Thanks, Neha. What happens now? I don't know, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm in control of my own story. That night, I lay in bed, replaying the evening in my mind. I'd done it, I'd shown up, I'd spoken my truth, I'd refused to be erased. But something told me this wasn't over. My phone buzzed, a text from my mother. Come to the house tomorrow, we need to talk. This behavior is unacceptable. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back. No, if you want to talk, you can come to me. I'm done chasing after people who don't value me. I hit send and turned off my phone. Whatever happened next, I was ready. Because I wasn't the invisible, forgotten sister anymore. I was Maya, and I mattered. 3 days passed, 3 days of silence from my family. No calls, no texts, nothing. At first, I thought maybe they'd just given up, that my mother's demand for a meeting had been an empty threat. But then, on Thursday evening, there was a knock at my door. I looked through the peephole. My mother stood there, alone, looking smaller than I remembered. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to pretend I wasn't home, to avoid the confrontation I knew was coming. But I'd come this far. I couldn't back down now. I opened the door. Hi, Mom. She looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Hurt, anger, exhaustion. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She entered slowly, looking around my small apartment like it was a foreign country. Tea, I offered. No, thank you. We sat down in the tiny living room, an uncomfortable silence stretching between us. Finally, she spoke. Why did you come to the engagement party? Because I'm Arjun's sister. Why wouldn't I come? You know why, Arjun told you. Arjun told me not to come because he was ashamed of me, because my divorce embarrasses him. Is that really a good enough reason, Mom? She looked down at her hands. It's not about shame, Maya, it's about protecting the family's reputation. Protecting the reputation, or hiding the truth. They're the same thing. No, they're not. I leaned forward. Mom, I didn't do anything wrong. Samir cheated on me. He left me. I'm the victim here, not the villain. But you've all treated me like I brought some kind of disease into the family. That's not fair. Isn't it? When was the last time you invited me to a family dinner? When was the last time you called just to see how I was doing? When was the last time you stood up for me instead of worrying about what the neighbors would say? Tears filled her eyes. You don't understand how hard it's been for me. Hard for you? Mom, I lost my husband, my marriage, my sense of self-worth. And instead of helping me through it, you made me feel like I deserved it. I never said you deserved it. You didn't have to say it. Your actions said it for you. She wiped her tears. I raised you to be strong, to handle difficulties. I thought you'd just move on. I am moving on, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let you all treat me like I'm disposable. No one thinks you're disposable. Really? Then why did Arjun tell me not to come? Why did you stop inviting me to family events? Why does Dad avoid mentioning me to relatives? She had no answer. I continued. You know what the worst part is? I spent my whole life trying to earn your approval, trying to be good enough, quiet enough, unproblematic enough, and it was never enough, because you only had room in your heart for Arjun. That's not true. Yes, it is, and we both know it. Silence filled the room. My mother looked broken, old, tired. What do you want from me, Maya? I want you to see me, really see me, not as a problem to manage or a reputation to protect, as your daughter, as a person who's been hurting and needed her family. I do see you. No, you don't. If you did, you would have shown up. You would have supported me. You would have told Arjun he was wrong for asking me to stay away. She looked away. He's about to get married. I didn't want to create problems. There it is again. His comfort over my dignity. His happiness over my pain. It's always been that way, hasn't it? Maya, please. No, I'm done pleading. I'm done shrinking. I'm done apologizing for existing. I stood up. If you want a relationship with me, it has to be on equal terms. No more hiding me. No more treating me like a shameful secret. No more choosing Arjun over me every single time. My mother stood too, her voice shaking. And if I can't do that? The question hung in the air like a blade. I met her eyes. Then I guess you've made your choice. She stared at me for a long moment. Then, without another word, she walked to the door. She paused at the threshold, her hand on the doorknob. You've changed, Maya. Yes, I have. I finally learned that I deserve better. She left. The door clicked shut behind her. I stood there in the silence of my apartment, my heart pounding, tears streaming down my face. But these weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of release. For years, I'd carried the weight of my family's expectations, their judgment, their conditional love. And in that moment, I finally set it down. A week later, I received a message from an unexpected source, Priya. Hi Maya, I hope you don't mind me texting. Arjun gave me your number. I wanted to reach out because, well, I have some questions. Can we meet for coffee? I stared at the message, surprised. Why would Priya want to meet with me? I almost declined. The last thing I needed was to get dragged back into family drama. But curiosity got the better of me. Sure, when works for you. We arranged to meet the next day at a cafe near my office. When I arrived, Priya was already there, sitting at a corner table, nervously stirring her.